True Story Media.
When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Hey guys, it's me, Javier. I'm the host of the Pretend Podcast. So if you don't recognize my voice, that's because you're also listening to this on Murder, She Told with Kristen or Sins and Survivors with Shaun. Thank you so much, guys. This is my second year of doing this true crime podcaster cross collaboration during the holidays, and I'm so looking forward to this conversation.
Same. I really enjoyed it last year. And because my show is so straightforward and serious and scripted, I feel like my audience doesn't really get to hear a lot of this kind of just conversation. So it's really fun.
And I'm new to podcasting, and this is my first year doing this. So I'm glad that I get to show some of the other sides of my personality that people don't get to see in every episode.
Yeah, so today we are simulcasting, right? So this episode is playing on all three feeds. Your assignment, listeners, is to check out all these shows because they're really excellent. And, you love the show that you're listening to, but I guarantee you that you're going to love the other shows too. So go check it out. But without further ado, let's get into it. What do you guys think?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I was going to ask first if there was anything that really stuck out this year that either of you worked on.
Well, Kristen, I have to plug what we worked on together. Kristen and I were part of a presentation at the True Crime Podcast Festival about everybody's, sexiest criminal alive, Luigi Mangione. We were with Amanda from Wine and Crime, and we did sort of a panel discussion on what is with this obsession with Luigi, and what does that say about our culture, and what do we think could happen if he's found guilty of the murder, or could he possibly be found not guilty, and then what could happen, and how do we cover these cases where there's a lot of what was the word you used, Kristen, to explain, like we people connect with Luigi's alleged motive or mission or purpose, the message he was trying to send with his actions, with the fact that someone was shot dead on the sidewalk of New York City. How do you balance those as a true crime podcaster when you're also trying to, be ethical and respect that this man had a family and those kinds of issues? So that was one of I called it at TCPF, I called it kind of a full circle moment for me, because Kristen was the first person that I talked to about possibly starting my own podcast. So it was like a chance for us to work together. And that was a real highlight of the year for me.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. And I remember you coming up to me and, shooting some ideas out, and I just told you to go for it. And I think it's so cool that a couple of years later, you guys have a podcast that's successful and you're telling stories and you're helping people and, shedding light on domestic violence. And it's really cool to also have that little full circle moment with you, and also talk about something that's completely out of my comfort zone a little bit to talk about in front of people. I can talk about advocacy and cold cases and, ethics and stuff all day. But it was a nice challenge to be able to talk about something that I don't usually talk about on my show. I don't really talk about breaking cases, but, it's such a complicated situation because you have a victim who is not well liked, who a lot of people hate and have a vengeance against. So how do you kind of balance? And then there's the other side, the people who are the victims of this. And I mean, it could just keep going. But
and then there's the people who are attracted to him, almost I saw today in the news, he had a court hearing and all these women flocked into the courtroom. It's kind of crazy, how polarizing that one topic is, right?
Okay. What about you, Javier? Is there anything that you worked on this year, or maybe that you're looking forward to next year?
I have been working on a really cool case for months now that it is so explosive. Because did you guys watch that documentary, The High School Hoax?
Yes.
With the mom, for spoiler alert for the people who haven't watched it, the mom is the one stalking the daughter.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch it, but I know what you're talking about.
There's this one scene where you see the body cam footage of the cops like telling the daughter that your mom is your stalker. You know, it was such a big moment. And I'm like, wow, they really like up the ante with that one. And I'm working on a story that has a confession just like that. And it's super exciting. It was caught on camera, the whole thing, like hours and hours of a confession. And I just can't wait to tell that story because it's almost like we're not telling a story in past tense. You're telling the story as it happens, as it's unfolding. And it's a big whodunit. So I can't wait for you guys to listen to that one.
That's fun. I'm definitely interested. So what do you think happened? Like, do you think the daughter knew? I try not to judge people's reactions because you never know
how in the high school hoax?
React. Yeah. But when I saw that, I was just like, I'm sorry, but like I said, I try not to do this, but it's hard not to put yourself in the daughter's shoes. Like, her mother literally ruined her life.
I got to tell you, that stuck with me for a long time because her reaction, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's like, imagine you're being tormented for, I don't know how long that happened, right? Like
a couple years.
Yeah, years. And then somebody tells you what really happened. And it was like it bounced right off of her. Like she couldn't comprehend what the cop was telling her. In fact, the mom comes out after she learns that her mom was her tormentor, and she hugs her mom, and like you could tell that she still loves her mom. Like that reality hadn't sunk in yet. And even in like the interviews afterwards, you could tell that it's just hard for her to comprehend that her mom would actually do that to her.
Yeah. That was tough. I mean, and she still supports her mom. So like, it's just a really complicated relationship, but I find the psychology of that really fascinating.
Me too.
I don't think I couldn't be friends with my mom after that.
Shaun, I mean, we ruined it for you, but you got to watch this.
Sorry, you have to watch it.
No. I had read about it or heard about it. I knew what the ending was, I guess. It was spoiled for me before. But I wish I had more time to watch more stuff, right? So like every week something new comes out and I haven't seen any of it. But I was going to say, did they explain anything about what motivated her mom to do that? Does the daughter have a sense that her mom's in a really bad place mentally and maybe that makes her more empathetic? I don't know.
Kristen, do you remember? Because they actually interviewed the mom, which I thought
did.
Like, what was her
I thought that was wild.
That's messed up.
I think it kind of went light in that area. Like that was the weakest part. Was I wanted to know more about why. And she just kind of said, which I didn't believe, that she said that someone else started the harassment and then because her daughter started getting these like really awful text messages from somebody that she didn't know, an unknown number. And then the mother like picked it up and continued it.
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
Like, why would you do that to your daughter?
And I think she just said like something like it just started spiraling and then it just kept going and it kept going. And then she just couldn't feel like she could stop. But the things that she said were so incredibly awful. Like just talking about her daughter's body the way that she did. And it's pretty gross.
Well,
like,
and,
it's very
and also it wasn't just the daughter, it was her boyfriend too.
It was other people too.
Yeah. It's just wild.
I mean, it went deep.
Yeah.
I don't think she really like gave an explanation. I think that she just, I don't know, tried to brush it off a little bit as like it just spiraled out of control and she just didn't stop. And I think she also like kind of liked the attention too.
Yeah.
I was going to say it made me think like Munchausen's syndrome by proxy or something like that.
Yeah. I got that feeling too, that it was fun for her in a very perverse way, you know.
That's just
so weird.
But you know what other documentary, speaking of like found footage in the true crime world? Oh, what was it called? Oh, The Perfect Neighbor.
The Neighbor.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Did
that
you
one.
Watch that one?
Yeah. I have not seen it, but it is on my list.
It's so good.
I need to watch it because it looks really good.
There's no narrator. It's all told through body cam footage, and it's just talk about like throwing the audience in the middle of the action. I mean, that was a really cool twist. Yeah, and that's the thing about these documentaries too, right? Like you have to wonder how it's made. What are we seeing? What are we not seeing?
Mm-hmm.
I know I've done 2 documentaries so far. The first one was Citizen PI for the first season of Criminal Conduct, which was my other podcast. And that was interesting because they took a case that we worked on and they gave us a lot of creative control in terms of they interviewed us thoroughly. And I feel like they got the story right. And then the second one was Don't Pick Up the Phone on Netflix. It was a 3-part.
That one was interesting.
Yeah, that was a really good one. And that one, I felt like I gave them a lot of content and contacts and stuff like that. And then in the end, it was like a little out of my control. So I felt like I didn't have, but they did a good job telling the story. But it does make me uneasy as a creator. I guess call me a control freak. But I always, if I want to be involved in one of these things, I want to make sure that I'm telling the story the right way. That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and just because like people are interviewed in it, like family members, doesn't necessarily mean that it's being ethically produced.
Yeah.
Too. I think that a lot of people watch documentaries and they'll just see, oh, someone's involved with that, so therefore it must be fine. But that's not always true.
Yeah. And a lot of these documentaries don't pay the victims.
No.
They don't pay the contributors,
Nope.
Which is fine, I guess. But you know what I mean? Like a lot of people assume that there's a lot of money exchanging hands, but not really.
No, if they can get something for free, they will. Like I also work in the entertainment industry and it's just like it'll just be like exposure. We'll give you exposure and a light nut snack and a credit. We'll give you a credit. You'll get your name on IMDb.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
Fancy.
It's so crazy. So Kristen, what year did you start Murder, She Told?
I started it in December of 2020. So it's 5 years.
I feel like that's when the podcast window kind of was closing, like where prior to 2020, everybody could have a podcast and get like a large audience. But then after the pandemic, it feels like everybody got a podcast and it was so hard to stand out.
Yeah.
And then Shaun, you started what, like 2 years ago?
Yeah, just about 2 years ago, October of 2023, we started. Yeah. Oh,
that's so crazy.
And I had no idea how much work it would be. I think that's the part that's been the most shocking, that if you want to do it right, you want to do it thorough job, like both of you do, because it's a lot of research and investigating and double checking and fact checking and making sure it's accurate. And that's just to get you to the script and then forget about the production end.
But I'm so glad that you tapped into the true crime community because, my day job, I produce podcasts and YouTube channels or YouTube videos for brands, for like companies.
Oh, okay.
And I always tell them that like, you cannot do this alone, right? Like, first of all, nobody's going to listen to your audience, to your show if you don't advertise, if you don't like get out there. But like another way of growing your audience is to collaborate, kind of like what we're doing right now, right?
Absolutely.
Because we all are in the same space and we all have our own audiences and this is the way to grow.
Yeah, I didn't focus on that as much this year, not because I intentionally didn't, but I wanted to. Sometimes there's just only so much you can do and it's overwhelming sometimes.
I don't think our listeners realize. I think they do, right? Because like they're my Patreon supporters. Like I feel like I don't give them enough, but like I feel like they're there for me because they understand how little we're working with, and we're just like me and like I finally got an editor and somebody to help produce a little bit, but it's just us. I mean, it's a very small, lean and mean team, and we're doing like a thesis every week,
Yes,
exactly.
That's exactly how John explained it. He's like, I feel like we're writing a term paper every week, and I totally get it. Yeah, it really does feel that way sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we're doing it, right? Because if imagine the world before podcasting where we only got news from so many news outlets, right? Like now, stories like your show, Kristen, like, you could bring a case that's gotten cold or whatever and bring it back to life a little bit, where the major news networks can't devote that much time to a story. And, same with you, Shaun.
Yeah, absolutely. That's usually what we try and do. Something happens locally and it's reported on the news, like woman was shot by her boyfriend at this location on this day and time. Boyfriend was arrested, and that's all we hear. And then that's where my job starts, because I want to know more about that story. And I think people should know more about that story, because how can you have policies that prevent domestic violence if you don't understand what's causing it, or things we have in place to try and protect people that are failing? So and then why any person who dies, they deserve more to be than just like their race, age, gender in the newspaper. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I was listening to your most recent episode about the domestic violence incident that resulted in a homicide, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of those stories don't get attention, and like you pointed out in the show, is that even law enforcement, they treat it as, oh, this is just a domestic dispute, until it's not, right? Until it's
not.
Yeah.
Right. And nobody, like a 3-minute news segment is not going to do that story justice. It's not going to like give the victim the voice that they need, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Nevada is consistently in the top 10 of states for domestic violence homicides. And I just feel like it's something that I don't necessarily want Las Vegas to be known for that, but everybody knows Las Vegas for the fun. But there's 3 million people live in the county, and we have this pervasive problem. And I just want to draw more attention to it.
Kristen, I never asked you, where did the name for your show come from? Like, obviously, like I think of Murder, She Wrote, right? But I don't think I've ever asked you how you landed there.
Yeah. Well, when I was starting the show, I knew I wanted to focus on Maine and New England cases. I'm from Maine. I never see, like, as a consumer of true crime, I never saw cases from New England, with the exception of like the same ones over and over. I never saw cases, and I just started thinking, like, what do I want to do? And I knew I wanted it to be New England. So I started thinking of titles, and nothing was really sticking. Like, I remember brainstorming words. I wrote some stuff down. I like mixed and matched. And this is before ChatGPT. So nothing was really like clicking. Like, it didn't feel right. And then I remembered that Murder, She Wrote takes place in Cabot Cove, Maine, which is a fictional town in Maine. And I was like, wait a minute, because I knew I also wanted to do like kind of 80s, 90s, 70s, early 2000s cases, because I feel like they're the ones that kind of got buried with time, especially in this region. And I was like, I feel like I'm onto something. And then I just thought of the told, wrote, something spoken, and nobody had taken it, and the domain was available. So I bought it on the spot.
And it's such a cool logo too.
It.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I bet you get asked that all the time, right?
I do, yeah. I mean, because it's so synonymous with Murder, She Wrote, and sometimes people will recommend it as Murder, She Wrote, and I'm like, oh, it's told. It's told. Like, anybody can find Murder, She Wrote, but you only find Murder, She Told if you're looking for it. But
that's right.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of feel, very like nostalgic, and kind of have the branding be cohesive with that.
All right. Well, when we come back, Shaun, Kristen, and I will continue our conversation in this special bonus episode. In this economy, let's not let big wireless and your overpriced phone bill suck the joy out of the holiday seasons. Because right now, all of Mint Mobile's unlimited plans are 50% off. You can get 3, 6, or 12 months of unlimited premium wireless for just $15 a month. They say it's their best deal of the year. Oh, and don't worry, you can bring your phone and your number over to Mint. There's no contracts, no nonsense. I recently started using Mint Mobile, and I was super impressed by the signal that I get at my house. What a concept, right? For a long time, the only way I could make a call at home was with Wi-Fi. And now with Mint Mobile, I get a signal. Plus, it's a lot more affordable. So turn your expensive wireless present into a huge wireless savings future by switching to Mint. Shop Mint Unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/pretend. That's mintmobile.com/pretend. Limited time offer, upfront payments of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plans. Plan required, $15 a month equivalent. Taxes and fees extras. Initial plan term only. Greater than 35 gigabytes. May slow when network is busy. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com. It's finally cold outside. We're making holiday plans. And this is the time of year that I just need my wardrobe to work, to look sharp, to feel good, and something that I'll actually reach for in the closet. Lately, my go-to wardrobe is from Quince. Quince has what I need, like Mongolian cashmere sweaters for about $50. Who knew I needed that? But it's $50. You normally would drop $200 or more for the same type of sweater. And wool coats that hold up to daily wear and still look pretty sharp. For me, the most important thing is it needs to fit. And their denim fits right and it feels good. Same as the pants and the chinos. The outerwears are solid. The down jackets, the wool, the leather coats. I could go on and on. But all of this cozy stuff is going to keep you warm in the cold. So here's the model that I could get behind, because Quince partners directly with trusted factories. They have high standards, real craftsmanship. Plus, they cut out the middleman and the markups. So you get premium quality about half the cost. And here's a quick personal note. The down jacket that I just picked up is getting me through this winter cold weather. It looks good, it keeps me warm, and it doesn't cost a fortune. As the holidays hit, that's the piece I keep reaching for. And yes, Quince has gifts covered beyond clothing too. They got home, bath, kitchen, and travel. So get your wardrobe sorted and your gift list handled with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/pretendpod for free shipping on your order and a 365-day return. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/pretendpod. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/pretendpod.
Well, we talked about documentaries you watched. What about stuff to escape true crime? Like, what have you been watching this year?
That's a good.
Or it's the holidays. Do you have a favorite holiday movie or tradition?
But our audience is not going to understand that, right? Like, our audience is going to be like, "Why would you want to escape true crime? They love true crime. That's why they listen to us."
It's hard when you're in it.
Yeah, it's like we are marinating in this awful stuff all the time. So like, you listen to our 1 hour, 30-minute episode or whatever, but we've been living that for, in my case, like months and months, sometimes years,
Yeah.
And like, that's the last thing I want to watch on my free time.
And I usually joke that as I've gotten to know more true crime podcasters personally, that I always feel like I'm betraying someone because I'm taking my hour to listen to Kristen, which means I'm not listening to someone else that I like is doing really good work. And it's hard to keep up with all the great work that so many folks are doing.
Yeah, we always end up apologizing, right? Like, sorry, I haven't listened to your show. I'm like, podcasters hardly ever listen to other podcasters' work because it's just, it's like our job.
Yeah. And we also work, I don't know about all of you, but a lot of us, we work at home. I don't have a commute anymore. So I don't listen to a lot of things that I used to when I used to commute.
But you talked about, or you asked about our like documentaries, and what are your favorite non-true crime documentaries? Do any of these come to mind? I could start if you guys want to think about it.
Yeah, go for it. Because the only thing that's coming to mind is true crime. And I'm I do consume a lot of true crime documentaries.
I was like, I have one. And then I was like, actually, I guess that's kind of true crime. Did either of you ever see Capturing the Friedmans? Yeah.
What is it about?
A family that's affected by accusations of a father committing sexual abuse.
Oh.
Is that a good synopsis?
It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's really heavy, but it starts out with the documentary filmmaker wanted to make a documentary about clowns that perform at child's birthday parties, and connected with this one clown and I guess got into his history, and he revealed that these accusations that were made against his dad. And then so it went in a different direction. And the family is one of those, we were really into technology. So kind of like you were saying, The Perfect Neighbor, there's a lot of, VHS tape home movies that the family took. They filmed themselves, years before the documentary that were incorporated into the documentary. So
So
interesting.
you're like seeing it. Yeah. That always makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff.
Well, I was going to say one of them, but then I changed my mind as you were telling me your documentary. Have you seen the documentary Tell Me Who I Am? I don't even know where you can watch it. I think you can watch it on Netflix.
I don't think so.
So it's about these brothers. I can't remember if they're twins or not, because it's been a while since I've watched it. And one of them ends up in a serious motorcycle accident, and he loses his memory, so he doesn't remember his past. And so he's relying on his brother to tell him about their childhood. And he paints this idyllic, childhood. They had the perfect childhood, and he was telling him all these great things. But in reality, they had an awful, very traumatizing childhood. And his brother was trying to protect him, so that he wouldn't have to remember that. Yeah, it's really, really well done.
Yeah, I do remember watching that a few years ago, and it is really good. It's heavy, but it's good. But I feel like a lot of documentaries are on the heavier side because they're kind of exposing stuff that people don't want you to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because, can you think of a lighthearted documentary? I don't know.
Yes. My Octopus Teacher.
Oh, I love that.
I loved it. I wasn't expecting to love it. And you just fall in love with this little octopus, and they're so smart and so cool. And then you're sad when they die.
I know, but it's mostly awesome.
It's so touching and so beautiful.
And that's
highly recommend.
That's what's amazing about good storytelling, right? You don't need a crime to make an interesting story. In fact, I want to make a reel about this, because lately I've been listening to some. Guess what? I don't listen to true crime podcasts, so I listen to a lot of weird stuff. And I just listened to a podcast that was so good about people movers, moving sidewalks. And I'm thinking, how could you make an interesting podcast about those sidewalks that you get on the airport, the people movers? It was fascinating. It was 99% invisible. It was so good that I was listening to it on the commute. I couldn't finish it, but I had to get to work. And so I go up the elevator and I run to my desk and I finished it. I finished the episode, because you could take a story about something as mundane as a moving sidewalk and make it interesting.
I never thought that those would have an interesting story attached. Yeah. I do love a good moving sidewalk, though, at the airport. You just kind of feel like you're just power walking through.
Yeah. Until someone just decides to not move.
Stand there in the middle.
With their suitcase next to them, so you can't go around.
Yes.
And then you see all the non-moving sidewalk people zooming past you.
I know.
Very frustrating.
I like to watch bad reality TV sometimes.
Oh, that's your thing?
Laura Norton and I will talk about it, and it's just a really easy escape from true crime. And if I'm watching, I'll have something on in the background that's just dumb and easy while I'm processing, records or something that I don't really need to pay attention to, but I can still retain the story. We're not watching Game of Thrones over here. We're just watching people arguing at an airport.
What do you watch? What, out of curiosity, what?
I watched Love is Blind, which was so dumb this year. It was so dumb. Laura got me into 90 Day Fiancé the other way, where the Americans go overseas to be with their lovers. And that's interesting. I think that's kind of it for right now. There's more stuff.
I just find it hysterical that Laura Norton watches reality TV show. I don't see it, but
oh yeah, we talk about it all the time, on a daily basis.
That's so funny. How
Traitors.
about you,
I also
Shaun?
love Traitors.
Oh, I love
watched
Traitors.
that. It's so fun. It's so fun.
I love Traitors.
My son love Traitors. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I love Survivor too. That's as far as I go with reality shows. But,
yeah. I do like the reality game shows more than just the peep inside rich people's lives. I like the game show competition more.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Would you guys ever be on, if you could be on a reality show, which one would it be?
I kind of want to apply to Traitors. They're doing a civilian one.
I wished my son was old enough to try out for it, because I think he would be great on it. But he's only 17 on Traitors. Yeah.
Why not you, Shaun?
Oh my gosh, no.
Gotta live a little.
I would want to do Amazing Race, I think. as strenuous and stressful as that would be, and as much as I love flying, like I would want to do that one. Like travel the world in 30 days under pressure.
I think I would like to do Survivor, but I have massive migraines, and so I'm like thinking, nah, I couldn't do it. But now I think I could do Traitors. Although I don't know if I could backstab people. Could you do it?
That would be hard.
It's just a game.
I feel like I would be a really good traitor because I'm pretty unsuspecting. I think I could do it. I would just have to look at it as an acting job, that like I am acting as a traitor. But it's hard because like Kristen, when I'm in conversation with you, don't want to lie to your face. But yeah, I mean, if you're a traitor, you kind of have to. So
yep.
It doesn't sound like you guys know Survivor much, but there's a guy that was Rob, not Boston Rob, but the other Rob.
Okay.
Yeah. So he lives in Durham, and we were talking, and he's in the new season of Traitors that's coming out. And I was trying to get some details out of him, but he also signed
I'm sure.
What were we calling it?
NDA.
NDA. That's right. Yeah. So.
Yeah, they probably have that locked down.
Mm-hmm. But I'm excited. Once this is all over, I want to ask him all about it and get the scoop.
That would be cool. Put it on the podcast. We'd all
have him on the show.
Yeah,
because I have when I watch reality shows, I'm looking at the production. I'm like fascinated. Like where are they hiding the mics and where are the lights and stuff like that? I just want to ask them stupid questions like that. Like, is that round table like really in the castle, or is that like a separate set? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
I love behind the scenes stuff.
I heard that they don't actually live in the castle, which I guess wasn't so much of a surprise if I thought about it for a couple of seconds, but it seemed less dramatic if they get bussed to like some local, whatever, Marriott or something instead of staying, all together there. But
definitely not as glamorous.
Yeah, no, not as cool.
But isn't Alan Cummings like the perfect host for that show?
He's so good.
It was like he was born to do that role, right?
Yeah.
It's so over the top.
I love when he rips the picture down and like throws it or whatever. I just love it. It was so much.
And the outfits are amazing.
Yes, all the plaid and the bright colors. I love it. Yeah, the glasses.
Yeah, the costume designer must have so much fun with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a really fun one.
Well, if you have any questions about like what stuff behind the scenes is like, I have plenty of experience, not with like reality TV so much.
So what's your day job? I don't think we've ever talked about this.
I have like 10 jobs. I'm an actor, so that's like my profession prior to being a podcaster. So I'm a professional actor, and I do a lot of commercials, film work, stuff like that. And then I also work in events.
Wow,
so I staff events. I'll go on site and manage events. I did a lot more this year, which was really hard to juggle podcast stuff. But we're trying to make it work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Shaun, what's your day job?
I'm a grant writer. So I do grant writing. I'm working on a book. I haven't told a lot of people about that, but yeah. And it's going to be nonfiction. The proposal is done. I have to go back to the sample chapters and make some changes, but that's like my goal by the summer. I want to pitch it to a couple publishers, and if they love it, that's awesome. And if they don't, I might go the self-publishing route.
That's really cool.
It's based on something one of my law school professors told me, like my first year of law school, that the older I got, the more I saw she was right. So it's going to be called Bitch, Slut, Baby. And,
I was not expecting that.
Right? All right.
So
you should have just started there.
This was 2001, so it was almost 25 years ago. But my law school professor, she told us, she's a woman, so she had kind of, been in this man's world, let's say, like as she grew, as she was in her career, as her career was growing, and then now she's teaching us. And one of my colleagues asked a question about sidebars. And she said, talk to us about that. Like we see it in TV all the time. Like, how does it really work? And for some reason, my professor, she was like, you have to be really careful because when you approach the bench, sometimes judges will take that opportunity to look down your top. And so she was like, so just be careful, which I thought was really interesting. And I thought was probably coming from her personal experience. But she said, when you walk into a classroom, when you walk into a courtroom, you're going to be seen as one of three things. You're going to be seen as a bitch, a slut, or a baby. Which one do you want to be? Choose. And so that was just like her lesson to us. So she made it clear that she had chosen bitch, meaning like you want to be on your game, you want to be rigid, you don't want to ever ask for help, and you don't want to ever flirt or give anyone the chance to think that you might be flirting. And this was like her armor that she had put on to like navigate her career. And I was kind of like, that's really interesting. I'm like, and then the more I'm like, I don't know if you get to pick. I think sometimes people see you a certain way and that's what they latch onto. And I think you can see it in true crime, any like witnesses or victims, right? I mean, it's, who gets to be the baby and be protected and who gets called a bitch or who gets called a slut and is ignored or disrespected. So that's kind of what it's going to be. And you can take that out if you want, Javier, but I just want to
No way. Are you kidding?
No, I think that's fascinating.
This was like the best part of the podcast episode.
I haven't told a lot of people
before.
about it. Yeah. It's kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to get too like cerebral, but you guys have both heard like Madonna whore, right? Like a woman's going to be seen as like, your mother and like righteous or like the opposite of that. And she kind of gave us three choices. And then I was kind of like, like Monica Lewinsky, I think, is probably one of my good examples, right? I mean, how did we see her? I don't know how, I think I'm older than both of you, but how do we see her in the 90s and how do we see her now? And did she choose that to be labeled that way? Of course she did. And like, that was like thrust upon her. So, and you see that with, I don't know, Amanda Knox or like Ollie, like you can just kind of pick people out and just kind of say these people were described as unhinged or untruthful or in the wrong, like making wrong choices, like drinking too much or what they're wearing, like a victim blaming. But then also you have people like, Britney Spears, I guess, is a good example. We see her as a baby in the sense that she needed protection. And that wasn't necessarily a good thing. It's not always a good thing to be the baby because you don't always get protected if you're a baby. That kind of dynamic.
That's really interesting. Like, I mean, obviously I'm not a woman, but it like when you said it, like, I don't know about you, Kristen, but I was like, wow, that is a great idea.
Yeah, that's a great title.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That was like, I like, but that's exactly what she said to us in the classroom. And it was kind of shocking when she said it. Like,
so publishers, if you're listening.
Yeah. If you're interested.
Hit this one up.
That's right.
I
want to read it. All right, let's do that. Well, Kristen and Shaun, this was fun. This was so much fun to just like let loose and just talk shop with you guys. I hope my audience, the pretend listeners, go out and check out Sins and Survivors and Murder, She Told, because they're excellent podcasts.
Yeah, go listen to Pretend. It's really fun. And Javier asks questions that I'm so impressed by. Because you just like you ask the questions that I'm too afraid to ask people. And I love it. So go listen to Pretend.
I don't mind getting uncomfortable with people. So
I love that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This was fun. Thank you.